He is so cute. This is Eli. His t-shirt says that he's hangry. And he is. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Dylan, if you didn't know already. And as you can probably tell by the title, this is going to be the story of how I got pregnant at 16. I just want to start off with a disclaimer. I'm fully aware of how young I was, and I would take my story as a caution tale for other young girls watching this. I'm not going to tell you not to have sex because that never works as a form of contraception. What you should be doing is wearing a condom. Even if you're on the pill or any other contraceptive, you should always wear a condom, protect yourself against STDs and pregnancy. So starting off, I was 16 at the time, obviously, and I was out of school for about a year due to a head injury. I wasn't in the best place at that point in my life, and I had a really shaky relationship with my mum, and I wasn't spending a lot of time at home. I was always out with friends, and I didn't really care about myself, my family. I didn't really have any goals or ambitions or things I wanted to do with my life. I was just set on having fun and partying. I met my baby's father through social media and mutual friends. We were friends for a couple of weeks before we got into a relationship and started dating and seeing each other. He was 17 and his friends didn't really like me, so I only really saw him by himself or around my friends. But I saw him regularly just about every day for the first couple of weeks of our relationship, and we were just so in love and just obsessed with each other, and it was just really intense and a magnetic relationship. It was a few weeks before me and him started becoming sexually active. I mistakenly thought because we were in a monogamous long-term relationship that it wouldn't really matter about contraception. I just thought becoming pregnant would never happen to me. I thought it was like a 1 in a million chance. When I realised I was pregnant, I actually started getting pregnancy-like symptoms, which I thought were period symptoms. I've always had really weird periods. They've either been really intense, heavy bleeding, really painful, I'd throw up sometimes, and then other times I would not bleed for a month, and my periods were always irregular. So what happened was, I wasn't bleeding, but I was throwing up and I had pain in my stomach. So I was thinking that I was having a period that was just unusual and painful, but I hadn't had an unusual painful period in a while, so I was worried about it. So I told my mum that I wasn't bleeding, but I had period pains and throwing up, and that I'd like to go to the GP and see about getting put on the pill. We went to the GP, which is the general practitioner, the doctors. We went to the doctors together. It was quite funny. When we went there, he suggested that maybe I had food poisoning and that I was having a late period. I was thinking through things I'd ate, and I hadn't ate anything that was different or raw or anything weird, so it couldn't have been that. So he asked, "Are you sexually active?" I said yes, and he was like, "Is there any chance you could be pregnant?" I stupidly said no. I knew that I probably could be, but I was just like, no way, I couldn't be pregnant, like, bitch, no. I was just like, it's just not realistic. So I just kept insisting, no, there's no way I could be pregnant, I'm always safe, and we were safe a few times, but the majority of the time we weren't safe, which is really stupid. When I left the room, he winked at my mum and told her to get a pregnancy test. So on the way back home, she picked 2 up, and we continued off home, and I was just deliberating in my head, like, things that have happened, events, like, oh, I could have been pregnant then, oh, what if I got pregnant then? And I just started panicking and getting a bit worked up and upset. So by the time we got home, I was really, really upset. But my mum was just like, let's just get it over and done with, see if you are or not, and then move on from there. So it was a bit of a weird experience to take a pregnancy test with your mum. I peed in a cup and she put the test in the cup so I wouldn't like miss the test when I was peeing on it or something like that. We were sat in the living room a bit awkwardly. You know when things are so tense and awkward you want to laugh? It was like that. I was holding in my laughter. She turned around and she was like, "Dylan." And I was just like, "Yes, mum?" And my lips were just like, because I was either gonna cry or gonna burst out in laughter. I was just like, and she said, "Well, look at it." I looked at the pregnancy test after she already knew, and it was the 2 lines, and I was just like, it was the face crack of the century. I was just like, Yeah, so I was gagged. I didn't really know what to say. I was just kind of like, So my mum just said to me, well, you've got to figure out what you're going to do. You need to make your mind up about how you deal with this. Finding out I was pregnant was really difficult for me. I'd only known Elijah's dad for about 2 months before I found out. At that time in my life, I was going out every weekend and I was struggling with a dependency on drugs, and I didn't have any goals for myself. I wasn't planning on going back to school. I didn't care. I was really suicidal. Just felt like there was no hope for me. There was no point. I'd completely given up on myself and my life, and I just didn't care. And some of my family found out. Them, along with my mum, were, you know, constantly saying like, you really need to be smart about your decision. It's probably best you get a termination. What about your life? It's going to ruin your life. You need to go back to school. It's going to be so hard for you. You're only 16. So the main thing was that it was going to stop me from having an education, and it was going to ruin my life. And I was constantly told that by family members. And I think the more you get told something, the more you start to believe it. But for me, as soon as I saw that pregnancy test, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, it wasn't that I was pregnant, it was that I was having a baby. I just felt like I was having a baby. I pictured me as a mother straight away. I knew that I would be a great mother. I pictured me and my boyfriend at the time getting married and having this big family, and it just sounds a bit crazy considering I was 16. My mum works full-time, she doesn't make a lot of money, we have 2 dogs. It's constantly been a struggle, so having a baby on top of that, and I wouldn't be able to afford to move out for a long time. I'd have to go back to school when he's old enough to be babysat and all of these things, but all I could think of is, oh my god, I'm having a baby. It just seemed like an opportunity, like a sign that I just had some kind of direction and a way to fix my life and to kind of have a life. Next thing I did was I told my best friends at the time. I told Eli's dad as well. I think everyone was shocked, and it was kind of mixed reviews. I think some people were worried for me, other people were excited for me. It's difficult because the only people who seemed excited for me were people who had already had babies quite young, or people who are quite young and don't understand how much stress a baby would be. It's like my head was telling me that, oh my god, you can't do this, you can barely take care of yourself. Girl, you can't even make yourself breakfast, you can't even make yourself lunch. Like, I can't even fold clothes properly. I only learned how to iron about a year ago, and I'm thinking about having a baby. It's ridiculous. But it just, in my heart, I was just like, I'm having a baby. I think a really prominent thing about having a baby so young is that people aren't really happy for you. I think if you envision having a baby and announcing it when you're like 30 to your family, they're like, oh my god, congratulations, you're starting a family, your baby's so cute, when's the baby shower? You know? And then when you're 16, it's just like, oh my god, you've ruined your life, how could you do this? You need to have an abortion, oh my god. So I really struggled from when I found out at 6 weeks to about the 9-week mark. I kind of just went along with what people were telling me, and I was like, okay, yeah, I need to get termination, I can't do this, I can't take care of a baby, blah 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 blah. To the point where I literally had a booked appointment. I just said to my mum, you need to cancel it, I can't do this, I want my baby. I really, really want to have my baby, I can't. I was like, I don't care what anyone says, I'm having my baby, and I'm going to be the best mum I'm going to be, and I'm going to completely turn around my life. I'm going to sort my life out. Obviously, my mum and the rest of the family weren't exactly happy straight away. I wouldn't say they were angry or upset. It was more like they were just worried. That's all it was with my mum, that she was just so worried. But by the time I was 12 weeks, she was just as excited as I was. I remember going to the 12-week scan. I had an appointment for one hospital, but the person who did the ultrasounds didn't turn up that day. Because I was 12 weeks, I really needed to have a scan. I think I was verging on 13 weeks. It was like an emergency scan. We had to travel all the way to a completely different town. I think it was like, we had to travel like 2 hours to get there and back, and it was crazy. And because of that rush, my boyfriend at the time wasn't able to get there with us, so he did miss out on the first scan. At the time, our house was in about a state of like mid-renovation at the time, like mid-decoration. Like, it looked as if it had just been moved into for a couple of years because we were so busy and tight on money, we weren't really able to finish the house. But it's like as soon as we found out I was pregnant, we did up my bedroom. You see my bedroom now? It used to be dark green walls, and I used to have dirty carpet. I used to have candle wax on the carpet, eyeliner stains, bits of makeup everywhere on the carpet, just stains. So I didn't announce I was pregnant until I was about 16 weeks. I wanted to make sure I was all clear and there wasn't any kind of complications that would mean that I wouldn't be able to deliver. One thing interesting was that you gradually start to lose all of your friends when you become pregnant at 16. You know, all of my friends were busy with sixth form, or they were going out to parties, or they were, you know, just doing things and getting on with their life, and I was kind of stuck in this kind of like freeze frame for about 9 months of my life. For the first little while of my pregnancy, it was all about changing my lifestyle to get ready for a baby. You know, I had to stop going out, I stopped taking drugs straight away. It wasn't that difficult for me. So for a while I was just sitting at home with my 2 dogs and waiting for the baby to come. The only person I really constantly saw was Elijah's dad and my friend, my best friend at the time, Lucas. And that was just my mum, Lucas, Eli's dad, my nan. Those were just the people I was seeing constantly. So it got a bit tense, my relationship with Eli's dad, because he was one of very few people that I was seeing, and I wasn't doing much because as the pregnancy went on, I was less able to do things, and you know, things that teenagers would normally do, I'm not able to do. And you know, being pregnant, as you can expect, my hormones were a bit all over the place, and it was just a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And before I was pregnant, we only knew each other for about 2 months, so a lot of my pregnancy was getting to know each other, and we had a lot of arguments, and it was just a real struggle, and we broke up towards the end of the pregnancy, and then we got back together, but now we're not together anymore. People were like, oh my god, your girl's such a cute little girl, and I was like, sis, he's a boy. I know. I've been new. As soon as I was pregnant, boy, I just knew it. I knew it. I can't explain how, but you just know things like that. It's just intuition. So I think a big thing about me being a teen mum was that I wanted to not be a stereotypical teen mum. I wanted to breastfeed, I wanted to go to all my appointments, go to the antenatal class. I had a family nurse practitioner who is like a health visitor but a bit more in depth, and I saw her before while I was pregnant, and then I see her for 2 years afterwards while Eli grows up, every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. So she was really good, my family nurse practitioner, as a source of extra support because I didn't have a lot at the time. She would explain things like how to breastfeed, what the birth would be like. My pregnancy symptoms, she kind of explained why I'm experiencing these things like back pain, and I had like pain in my ribs, I had hip pain, I had vagina pain, I had leg pain, I had neck pain, I had all sorts of pains. I had breast pain as well. I was just hurting all over. Child, from the minute I was pregnant, I was just hurting all over. It went from morning sickness to back pain to everywhere pain. It didn't stop. Is there any need to bark? There is no one there. No! Shut up! So, about in the second trimester, Eli's dad told his parents, and you know, they weren't really pleased either. I think few parents would be excited if their 16, 17-year-old was having a baby. But sis, towards the end of the pregnancy, it was just good vibes. Everyone was excited. I was planning on having a baby shower, but I didn't end up having one. I didn't have any money, I didn't have any time, I didn't have any preparations for a baby shower, so it just didn't happen. And I know you can have them afterwards, but afterwards I was just too busy, and it's a lot having a newborn baby. And I was used to sleeping in until about 2 p.m. Maybe when he graduates college. Yeah. When he moves out, I'll be able to sleep again. So I was just getting ready for the baby, living my best life. I was fat and happy. I was waddling around in my socks and sandals. I looked cute. I had my wigs on. You know, I was a cute pregnant lady. But the third trimester seemed to drag on, and it was like, it's just the countdown, and every day you're like, oh, 33 days. You're like, oh, 5 days. And then it's like, oh, when my due date, where is he? So I was saying that he would come 2 days early. My mum was saying he'd be 2 days late. He made me wait 10 days. 10 days. No, he didn't. 8 days. 8? Yeah, 8 days. 8 days. How rude. My mum said he'd be born on the 14th. He was due on the 12th. And he was born on the 20th. That pissed me off. I was just, I was so over it. He was born on the 20th because I had a sweep as well, and if I didn't have that sweep, he probably would have been born for another, I don't know how many days, I probably would have been induced. So that's how I got pregnant, how my pregnancy went. It went quite well. Just, you know, it was a struggle of changing my lifestyle, losing friends, getting things ready, my family and his family coming to terms with it, and then our relationship struggles on top of that. But I was thinking I'd do another video on my labour and delivery. Do you like my earrings? They're quite cool. They're from Monkey. I love Monkey. Sponsor me. Trying to be lazy. Oh, he's crying. Oh my god. Here he is. Say hi. This is Eli. He's 2 months old and very sleepy. Very sleepy. His t-shirt says that he's hangry. And he is. So he's 2 months old. I'm not currently with his dad, but we have a good time and he sees his dad. So hello. Oh, he's so cute. Thanks for watching. Bye.